Mended that hole in the roof yet, Magician?
Oh, I'm afraid not, Auntie Flo. You see, I've been quite busy tidying up the garden.
Well, I must say you've done a wonderful job. You must have worked very hard.
Well, I did have my magic to help me. I used it to clear away most of the weeds and the overgrown bushes.
Do you know, it almost looks like a different garden. For a start, I don't remember seeing that there before.
Well, to be honest, Aunt Flo, I'd quite forgotten it was there. All the grass and bushes had grown up all around it, and it was quite hidden. And when I cast a spell to clear them all away, suddenly, there it was.
It's a lovely summer house.
Ah, gazebo.
Pardon?
Gazebo. Gazebo is an old word for a small garden building. Toby and I think gazebo sounds more magic than a summer house.
Do you know, I think I agree with you. Gazebo. It's a good word, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Where is Toby, by the way?
Oh, he's probably playing with his friends somewhere.
Oh, which friends?
Oh, the ones he met in the garden.
Oh.
Actually, they might be in the gazebo. They like it in there. Ah, yes. There they are.
What do you think then, Hooter?
Ha-ha!
Oh, hello, Auntie Flo. What a pleasant surprise. I didn't think you were going to be visiting us today.
How nice to see you, Toby. Now, are you going to introduce me to your friends?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Now, you've already met Maple Mouse, haven't you?
Hello, Auntie Flo.
Hello, Maple.
And this is Mr. Hooter. He's an owl, you know.
Yes, I know. How do you do, Mr. Hooter?
How do you do?
And this is Snodgrass, Auntie Flo.
Ooh, a snake.
People always say that. It's not very nice for me, you know. I don't go round saying, ooh, an auntie, or ooh, a magician.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was very rude of me. It's just that...
I know. Lots of people are scared of snakes. But I'm quite a harmless snake. A Snodgrass snake, actually.
Well, I'm very pleased to meet you, Snodgrass.
Well done, Auntie Flo. Tell me, what do you think of the gazebo?
Well, I think it's lovely.
Oh, good.
Oh, and I see you've got an old gramophone. You'll be able to play records on that, Toby.
Oh, yes. Well, no, not actually. You see, we haven't got any records.
And even if we had, the gramophone doesn't work. It's broken.
Oh, well, never mind. Oh, I say, what's this old thing here?
It's a bird bath.
Another bird bath? I've just seen one out in the garden.
I can't get a decent bath from that wee thing. Now, this one is big enough for me to have a really good soak.
Mr. Hooter does love his bath, you know.
Oh, really? But what about the other bird bath, Magician? Well, doesn't this one ever get used?
Oh, yes, it does. The little birds use this one. And so do we. Toby and I have a very special use for it, too.
Really? And what's that?
Well, you know what happens when I stir the water in my magic puddle?
Find out what's happening in Puddle Lane.
Yes. And it's the same with this bird bath.
Oh, well, I'd like to see that.
So would I. You know what I want to find out? What happened to the little dragon you were telling me about last time? Tessa Catchermouse, you see, let him out of his cage, and she shouldn't have. I wonder what he did.
Well, let's see, shall we?
Oh, yes, we'll finish our game later.
As the little dragon flew down into the magician's garden, he saw Mr. Go-to-Bed sitting in Puddle Lane. Mr. Go-to-Bed was fast asleep, with a newspaper over his face. The little dragon flew straight at Mr. Go-to-Bed, breathing out fire and smoke. Mr. Go-to-Bed's newspaper began to burn. Mr. Go-to-Bed woke up in a fright. He leapt out of his chair, flung the newspaper to the ground, and stamped on it to put out the flames. The little dragon flew off down the lane, looking for mischief. As he flew over the rooftops, he saw Hari and Davy in Davy's back garden. They were sailing boats in a big tin bath. The little dragon flew down, breathing fire and smoke. As quick as a flash, Hari picked up a bucket of water and threw it over the dragon's head. The water knocked the dragon down to the ground, and it left him very wet. He was very angry too. He flew back over the roof and landed in Puddle Lane. "I'll burn a house down," he growled to himself. "I'll burn a house down if it takes me all day." Mr. Puffle was watering the flowers in his window box. The little dragon saw him. He flew down to Mr. Puffle's front door and set it on fire. Mr. Puffle saw him. He picked up a flower pot and dropped it right on the little dragon's head. When Mr. Puffle went out into the lane, he found the little dragon lying there and picked him up. The flower pot had knocked the little dragon out. "I'll change you up before you can do any more damage," said Mr. Puffle. When the little dragon opened his eyes again, he found himself chained up in Mr. Puffle's back garden. He was furious. He tugged at the chain and he puffed out fire, but he couldn't get away. So the little dragon had to stay in the garden, and every morning Mr. Puffle took him inside his house to light the fire in the kitchen, before chaining him up safely in the garden again.
Well, I'm glad he can't do any more harm. Fire dragons aren't like spell dragons, you know.
No, spell dragons are very nice creatures. And I expect you're going to go up into the magician's room to check that in the storybook, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
Oh, no! There's no need. Why bother going up to the storybook when we can magic the storybook down to us?
Of course, Toby. Brilliant idea. But
Oh, it is wonderful to use magic. I'm surprised you haven't used it on that old gramophone.
What a wonderful idea.
Yes, it is. But we'll do that just as soon as we've checked that the story's been magicked into the book.
All right.
Right, now let's see. Uh-huh. Here we are. Now, as the dragon flew out down Puddle Lane, who was the first person he met?
I know! Mr. Go-to-Bed, asleep with a newspaper over his head.
Yes, and the dragon set fire to the newspaper.
Oh, that was a terribly dangerous thing to do.
It was. No wonder Mr. Go-to-Bed woke up. Then the dragon set fire to something else. Do you remember what that was?
Some paper boats. Hari and Davy were sailing them in a tin bath. Bit like Mr. Hooters.
It's a good job Hari threw a bucket of water over the dragon. That damped down his fire a bit.
Oh, yes, he was very wet. But then he tried to set fire to a house.
Indeed, Mr. Puffle's house. But Mr. Puffle caught him, and now he uses the dragon to light his fire every morning. And there he is. Oh, can I read that bit?
Oh, yes.
The little dragon lit Mr. Puffle's fire.
Good. Quite right. And that's the end of the story called
Never Trust Dragons. Now, shall we make that spell to mend the gramophone?
Oh, yes.
I've been thinking about that. It's not much use us trying to mend it.
Oh, why not?
Because we haven't any records, and a gramophone is no good without any records.
Oh?
So, I suggest we cast a spell not to mend it, but to make it a magic gramophone.
Oh, yes, what a great idea. Come on then, everybody, over to the water barrel.
But I thought you mixed all your spells in the cauldron.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Not when we're in the garden, Auntie Flo. When we're out here, we mix them in barrel.
Oh, hello, Beryl.
Barrel. not Beryl.
Oh, I'm sorry. How do you do, Barrel?
How do you do, Auntie Flo? I'm delighted to meet you. I've heard so much about you from my brother, the Cauldron.
Oh.
Good. Well, now you two have met. Let's get to work.
Ah, magic! A spell to make our gramophone work. Now, what do we need? I know, a colour.
A colour, yes. Something beginning with G for gramophone.
Oh, I know what colour. Look, it's all around us.
Oh.
Green.
Green? Grass.
Perfect,
Will that
Auntie
do?
Flo. Perfect. Just pop it into barrel.
Like this? Ooh.
Now we need something beginning with for magic.
Might I suggest some milk? I'm very thirsty today.
You're always thirsty, Beryl. She's as bad as our brother sometimes.
I am not. Cauldron's always eating, but I just like the odd drink now and then. And when it hasn't rained for a while, I get very thirsty.
Never mind, Barrel. Here's a drink. It's for milk.
Ooh.
Thank you. Shall I help you with the tune?
Yes, please.
It goes pom 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 pom.
Thank you, Barrel. Pom, 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 pom. Right, all together.
Pom, 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 pom.
Good. Now the magic clap. Now the magic rhyme. Puddle, muddle, muddle, puddle. Records we don't have to own. Muddle, puddle, puddle, muddle. With our magic gramophone.
Doesn't look very different to me.
Ah, but it is different now. It's magic.
Well, what will it do?
All kinds of things, I should think. Let's find out.
Oh,
Splendid.
Good, isn't it?
very clever.
I'm glad that I'm a magician. I'm glad that I'm a magician. A great and powerful magician. I click my fingers and make things change.
Woo!
Things peculiar, things quite strange. Oh, I'm glad that I'm a magician. There's nothing I'd rather be than a marvelous magical mystery man.
That's a rabbit.
A magician, that's me.
Tra-la-la, tra-la-la, tra-la-la.
I'm glad that I'm a magician. A mighty but modest magician. I use my powers to cast a spell with colors and music and rhymes as well.
He's glad that he's a magician.
That's me.
There's nothing he'd rather be
Not at all.
than a marvelous magical mystery man.
A magician. That's me.
Oh, it's lovely.
Thank you, magician.
Have you got any for me then? Oh,
Not at all.
Toby.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
lovely,
I
aren't
had
they?
something else. Thank you.